Our 2024-25 season previews will continue on today with the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, this is a fun one. This is always a fun one talking about Toronto because it's Toronto. Come on. So let's talk about 3 years ago, first off, in 2021-22, where they went 54-21-7 for 115 points. They were fourth in the NHL that year, and they lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning in 7 games. So you might be wondering, Nordic, why are you going back to 2021? Well, or 2021-22. Well, first off, we've been doing it for every single team, but stick with me here. So after losing in that 7 games, that was actually a playoff series where you thought they could have done it. They probably should have done it by a few metrics. They should have beat Tampa in that 7th game. They should have moved on to play Florida. That's what should have happened, but obviously it didn't go that way. And people, thought that maybe they were going to tear this down and get rid of some of the core 4, but nope, they're not going to. So we get to 22-23, where they go 50-21-11 for 111 points. They were fourth in the league again that year. They end up doing it. They win around in 6 games against Tampa. I even said back then, yeah, this looks impressive. Maybe this core can do it now. But didn't end up going that way. They lost in the second round to the Florida Panthers. They were honestly utterly dominated in every single game in that series, except for, I think, Game 5. Yeah, it was a rough series overall for the Leafs. And Kyle Dubas speaks somewhat of maybe changing things up, gets fired, and Brad Treliving is named the brand new GM of the team. So moving up to this current year in 2023-24, they go 46-26-10 for 102 points. They are 10th in the NHL, so they got a little bit worse, but they obviously get into the playoffs. They force a Game 7 against Boston, but they end up losing in that 7th game and in the first round yet again. So this is, I think the 8th out of the last 9 years. It definitely not that. I think it's the 6th out of the last 7 years. 7 years they have lost in the first round. So it's been a rough go of things for Toronto, and there were a lot of people who called for some big changes because Marner was heading into the last year of his contract, so was Tavares, and there were talks of multiple people saying that they were going to trade someone from the core 4, and they were talking Marner, they were talking Tavares, they were talking other people, not even in the core 4, but they end up not really doing that. They're going to run it back one more year with what looks like an improved defense. So let's start with their departures first off. They lose Tyler Bertuzzi, TJ Brodie, Ilya Samsonov, Ilya Lyubushkin, Joel Edmondson, Mark Giordano, and Noah Gregor. Honestly, no big losses there besides Tyler Bertuzzi. You lose Brodie, who went to Chicago. You lose Samsonov, who went to Vegas, but they aren't really that mad at losing Samsonov because he was kind of in the playoffs. They lost Lyubushkin, who was a depth defenseman at the trade deadline. Same with Edmondson. Giordano was a third-pairing guy. He's pretty old, still waiting for a contract. And they also lost Noah Gregor as well. So, again, they didn't lose anyone that was really huge impact besides Tyler Bertuzzi. Apart from that, I like them getting rid of some of those guys. And then you look at their arrivals. They brought in Chris Tanev, OEL, Anthony Stolarz, and I guess you could add Max Pacioretty in there, to be honest. I would throw him in there. I know he's not on my list because at the time of recording of this video, he is currently signed to a PTO. So he's not under contract technically, but he's signed to a pro tryout. But from what we've been hearing, from the way Pacioretty performed with the Maple Leafs in the preseason, it seems like he's going to get a contract. So I actually like some of these ads. At the beginning of the season, I said that the off season, I said I really didn't, but now I really like them. I like the ad of Tanev. I like the ad of OEL. It makes the blue line a little bit deeper. And when you look at the playoffs, their biggest problem outside of depth was their blue line. Their blue line was kind of, subject at times for the reason why they weren't able to put something good together there out on the ice. They also get Stolarz, who is a really good backup goaltender, had a good year with Florida when they won the Stanley Cup. So I like those moves. My only issue is I just don't know if this team can do it. I don't know. Like, I look at this roster on paper, I think it's very top heavy. I think it's good, but I've said how many, like, for those who have been following me for so long, and, you know, a lot of my videos, I get new people watching. And I don't blame you, but for those who have been watching for a long time, first off, thank you. But secondly, how many times have I said that in a season preview for Toronto? I feel like this is like the 5th straight year I've been saying this. So, I don't know, to be honest. So let's get into the Hockey News projected lineups before I lose my mind here. Again, these are the Hockey News, not me, so don't come at me. I've been saying that for every single preview. But top 6, Matthew Knies, Austin Matthews, William Nylander. Second line, Bobby McMann, John Tavares, Mitch Marner. Now, again, it's not mine. There have been talks of Nylander moving to center. They're going to move JT to wing, supposedly, and have a pretty loaded top 6. I like that. I think that's a smart move. We'll see how it goes. But honestly, that's a good top 6. I think Knies is going to take a step this year. Again, Matthews is Matthews. Guy can score 70 goals. Nylander just signed a contract. He's in a good spot right now. Tavares and Marner on the last year of their deals. That will prove to be interesting to see. Well, we'll see how this team does. I think it's likely they're going to keep them around, though, is what I'm seeing. But I like McMann as well. If McMann can pan out, I think that looks good. But again, Pacioretty's not in here. So that's got to be something you got to keep in mind here too. Pacioretty will filter in here depending on where you think he's going to be. I would assume maybe he gets some top 6 minutes, if not a third line forward. But that's obviously a good add there too. Your bottom 6, Nick Robertson, Max Domi, Cale Yarncrook, Connor Dewar, David Kampf, Ryan Reeves. And then for some extra depth, you have Fraser Min, Pontus Holmberg, and Easton Cohen. So I like the bottom 6, but I just don't know if it's a good enough bottom 6 to be good enough depth-wise to win. I don't know. I don't really know when I look at it. I think Robertson can get you a good 20-goal season. I think Yarncrook can do somewhere around the same, but there's talks of them trading one of them. So I really don't know what to think of that bottom 6. I would like to think I like it, especially if guys like Min and Cohen make the lineup. Then that makes you excited. Like, come on, seeing a young guy make the lineup, that's exciting. I don't think it happens. I haven't seen anything that says it's going to happen, but I think that, come on, you got to be excited at least a little bit when you see things like that in the media. So, again, I like that. I think that the forward core is solid. I would love to see some more depth, but I think it's solid. Your defense, you got Riley and Tanev as your first pairing. OEL and McCabe as your second pairing. Simone Benoit and Timothy Liljegren as your third pairing. And then I don't even have an extra defender in there. I don't know why I didn't include him. I apologize for that. But, yeah, I like the defense a lot more. I do. I like the defense a lot more. I think Tanev and OEL. Tanev, I remember seeing like a stat that like Tanev is their best right-handed defenseman they've had in a very long time. So that's a good add there. He's signed for a longer-term contract. I understand that. But when you look at him in the short term, it does look like a pretty good deal. So hopefully that will go well for the Maple Leafs. I like OEL on that second tandem. He looked good in Florida last year. We'll just see if, you go from a Stanley Cup winning team to Toronto. Not to like discredit Toronto, but we'll see how that change can do for the Leafs. But I think Tanev and OEL are perfect adds to that blue line. It makes it a really good top 4, and I think that it's in a pretty good spot now. Your goalie tandem is Joseph Woll and Anthony Stolarz. I like that as well. I think that Woll is going to have a big year this year. However, if he gets hurt, they're in a really bad spot because Stolarz isn't a starter. He's a good backup, but he's not a starting goaltender for a team. And then your third string, I think, is Matt Murray. So, honestly, if Woll can stay healthy, that's a great tandem. If Woll is hurt, that's rough. So, we'll see what can happen there with that goalie tandem. But I like this team. It's just a matter of, like, I feel like I say it every year. I love this team on paper. I love what this team is built like. But I don't know if this team can mentally do it. To be honest, mentally, not even get through around mentally, get over this hump. Because they have the talent, they have the skill, but I don't know. It's really hard for me to look at this and say that. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully Craig Berube, the new coach, can change things up, can make things different. I think that people should be very excited he's in Toronto, and we'll see what they can do. But yeah, this team isn't bad, but we'll see what they can do in the playoff. The regular season really doesn't matter. That's been proven. So let's take a look at the Hockey News' yearbook. So the Hockey News has the Maple Leafs second in the Atlantic. Their cup odds are 16-1. And the biggest X factor facing the Maple Leafs is the swiftest path to improvement lies in a single metric: team save percentage. Last year, .893 ranked 23rd, and Leafs never found stability in goal. Regardless of how well the roster meshes with Berube, the club will only succeed. I can't read today, with capable goaltending, and I agree with that. I think that, again, as I said, if Wall is healthy, he can improve that, because I think Samsonov is a big improvement from Wall last year, or I think Wall is a big improvement from, yeah, you get what I mean. But regardless, I think that if Wall can stay healthy, that's great. If he gets hurt, it might be a little bit difficult for them to fight through that. But overall, I like the ads they made. I like the moves they made. Again, it's a matter of, can they get over that hump mentally as a team? That's my biggest question facing them right now. They have the talent, they have the energy, but can they do it? That's my question. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe down below. I really appreciate it. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.